Stuart, what did you take to Nepal?
Good question, Peter. It's always a tough decision of what to take in your camera bag for any photo assignment. This one was particularly difficult, given that I was going to have to carry everything with me on approximately a 70-kilometre walk up the mountain and back. So weight was a big consideration. So most photographers are very interested on what you keep in your bag and what you take on a particular assignment. So let's just run through what's in my bag. I'm actually using a low pro bag. I use a lot of low pro equipment. This bag is a nice size. It's great for carrying, and it can contain and customize the actual storage space within it for all my needs. There was a big decision whether to take one body or two. I just took one body, my 5D Mark III. I've got it here fitted with the 16-35 wide angle lens, which I use quite a lot for these type of trips. So that was the basic body I took. In terms of number of lenses, I took a 24-70, covers a really nice range. I also decided to take 50mm prime, 1.2 Canon. In retrospect, having done the trip, I might well have left this behind. It's quite heavy, and quite honestly on that trip I didn't use it that much, so that could have dropped out the bag theoretically. I had one more lens in the bag, which was like call it a novelty lens, but it's actually very good quality. Canon 40mm 2.8 pancake lens, which is excellent. That can slip in a very small space, and it's very, very light, easy to take. One thing I did consider taking was a larger zoom lens. I used the 70-200 lens. That is really heavy. It's 1.5 kilos, so I basically discounted taking that. Perhaps if I'd thought about that again, if I did another trip, I might want to take, say, a 200mm f4, which is quite a bit lighter to pop in the bag, perhaps in replacement of the 50mm. So those were the lenses. Other than that, in the bag I had a little bag full of storage cards, very essential on a trip like this where I didn't have the facility to, I didn't take a computer with me, I didn't take an external disk drive. I wanted plenty of storage with me. I took 4 32GB CF cards and 4 32GB SD cards, plus some extra ones as well. So that was more than sufficient for the trip. I also had a small bag here, which is a number of filters, neutral density filters, which I use occasionally, and I have a large 9-stop filter for doing long exposure times, which I use occasionally as well. So a number of filters in there. A couple of squeegee, stretchy attachments here, which I use to attach the Surui carbon fibre tripod to the back of the bag when I was actually trekking. This tripod was great for a trip like this. I mean, really essential for doing some of the landscape photography I wanted to do. This tripod was good because it packs down very, very small. It's extremely light, and it could strap onto this bag, and I could trek with it all day. Also in the bag here, I usually pack a dry towel, always useful to clean up and mop sweat off you. And of course a bag of goodies for camera cleaning. A couple of lens pens, a blower, cloths, etc. Other than that, one important feature was, being on a trip like this, we didn't have access to power, electricity in many of the places that we stayed, so I took quite a number of additional batteries for the camera. These were all charged up before we left Kathmandu, and in fact these lasted me the whole trip, and I had plenty spare left over, so that wasn't an issue. I didn't need to recharge the camera at all. Also in the bag here, it's always good to take a small torch. Sometimes you're in areas where there's no power or it's dark, you need a torch to move around. Spare batteries, of course, which is always useful for items such as the digital audio recorder. This is another item I take with me. It's a small Roland digital audio recorder. This is very useful for recording ambient sounds in an area. I like to do that. If you're up in a mountain area where there's rivers flowing, you're perhaps in a monastery where there's monks chanting. I managed to record quite a number of these things during the trip, and it's nice to add that audio into perhaps a slideshow or video presentation that you're putting together. So that goes with me as well. That's about it really. As I said, this pack was relatively small. This with the tripod attached was probably about 12 kilograms, which is quite heavy. I could have reduced that a little bit more. However, I managed to do the 70-kilometre walk with this. I'm still here to talk about it. So it actually, on the whole, worked out very, very well. So that's what's in the bag.